and welcome to the WTN Channel News program. Today we have a special program for you today, in celebration of cultural diversity and conclusion. WTN Channel News Inquisitive Corner Black History Month edition. Today's segment will feature Senator Brown, Senator Pinckney, and Ellen Kapler from Books and Bagels LLC. Sit back and relax and enjoy. Now we will have Senator Brown of our first state speaking with us.
Hello everyone, I'm Sky Elijah and welcome to WTKN Channel A News program, Inquisitive Corner. Thank you for joining us. Today we have a special guest. Please give a round of applause for Senator Darius Brown, who represents District 2 in Delaware. Hello Senator Brown, welcome to our program. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic this morning. Thank you so much for allowing me to join you.
You're welcome. Could you please tell our Thunderbird family a little bit about yourself?
My name is Darius Brown. I have the privilege of serving as a state senator here in the state of Delaware, representing the city of Wilmington, the Route 9 corridor on Newcastle Avenue, and the district goes as far south as Harris Corner. Many are more familiar with the farmers market as a location for that area. And so I am the third African American to serve in the state Senate, continuing the legacy of the first African American man, Herman Holloway Sr., and the first African American woman, Senator Margaret Rose Henry, and I had the privilege of succeeding her and representing the second senatorial district here in the state of Delaware.
Thank you for sharing that information. I want to ask you a few more questions if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
So what does a senator do?
The state senator, I am one of 21 state senators in the state of Delaware. In addition to writing, drafting, and codifying law into the Delaware Code, also work on public policy and really helping everyday citizens with issues that they may have to try to resolve problems. So if there's any summary of the work that I do as a state senator, it would be in helping people and wearing a t-shirt that says I solve problems, or at least that's the attempt that I do each and every day when I wake up.
Well, what made you become a senator?
I wanted to become a senator because I wanted to help people, and I had this sense of giving back to the community in which I grew up in. I grew up on the east side of Wilmington, and so there was many individuals in the educational space like you have here at Warner with all of your teachers that are here at Warner and your principal, Dr. Newton. I had that same experience as a kid growing up on the east side with Maurice Pritchett at Bancroft School, and so many of the community leaders in that area investing in me, nurturing me, giving me a sense of community. And so as an adult, I wanted to give back to improve the community in which I grew up in, the city that I love, and the state that I serve.
That's so interesting. I didn't know how much work it took to be a senator. Yeah. How long have you been a senator? I
was elected to the Delaware State Senate in 2018. Before that, I served on Wilmington City Council when I began in 2012 as a member of Wilmington City Council representing the 3rd Council District. I've spent most of my adult life working in government, so I began my career professionally working in the United States Senate for a guy named Joe Biden when he was our U.S. Senator. And so from that, I continued my maturation to the point that I am now serving as an elected official in the state as a state senator.
Well, why did you just stay senator for so long?
Serving in the Delaware State Senate, I am the only African-American male that is elected to serve in the Delaware State Senate. I'm the second in the history of the state as an African-American male. And for young men like yourself and others, I want to be a role model and an example of what you can do and you can achieve and accomplish in your life. And so that's part of why I do this work, but it's also about improving the lives and neighborhoods of black and brown people, people that are underserved, underrepresented, and underprivileged, and allowing them to recognize the opportunity and possibility they have that are limitless, educationally, professionally, in any area of their life that they want to pursue. So for me, it's about making sure that your dreams are dreams that you can obtain and that they come true, and making sure you have all the supports and all the resources to bring those things to fruition.
Thank you for working for the people who live in Delaware for so many years. What are some obstacles you have to deal with while being a senator?
As a state senator, I represent over 40,000 Delawareans. So that's 40 plus thousand opinions, ideas, and ways to do things. And so bringing people together to agree, to coalesce, to compromise, to get things done on behalf of you and families like yours and children throughout the city. And we've done that through legislation by the historic investments we've made in infrastructure in the state of Delaware, by criminal justice reform with the Adult Expungement Act and Clean Slate, which now allows individuals that have a barrier to employment, housing, or education to be removed. And that helps over 290,000 Delawareans up and down the state, literally from Claymont to Rehoboth Beach to Del Mar, all lifestyles of people. Over 290,000 people are now helped because of legislation like that. But then I get to come back to neighborhoods that you and I grew up in here in the city of Wilmington and along the Route 9 corridor and make investments. So we invested last year over $100 million into the 2nd Senatorial District and to African American institutions in the state. And I look forward to doing more of that work to build better neighborhoods and to reduce poverty and expand opportunity.
Was it like really difficult to like be a senator?
I think the strength of being a senator is family support, neighborhood support, constituency support, and then being encouraged to spend a Friday morning with you and recognize that the work that I do is not in vain and that there's a bright future of young leaders like yourself that I once was as a kid when I was in like youth in government and student government and all those things like eons ago, that one day you'll become a senator or a doctor or a business owner or whatever your desires are, and that you can do more than one thing. And so with me being a state senator, that is one thing that I do. I also run a nonprofit in the city of Wilmington that helps people that are coming out of prison gain employment and housing and reenter successfully. And then I also do other work in the community within the faith-based community and other entities. So you can do more than one thing in your lifespan and you can accomplish them all and achieve them all. So what are some of your favorite things to do?
Well, I'm more like a sport person, but I actually love dancing.
You love dancing?
Yeah.
So when I was your age, I was in 3rd grade. I was at McVeigh Elementary School, and we had a play for Peter Pan, and I got to play Peter Pan, and I fell in love with the arts. And as life went on, I got involved in government and politics and things of that sort, and never got to really advance in that dream of mine in acting and arts. And so when you say that to me, that brings me alive. And hopefully there, at some point in my life I can revisit that in some context, but I hope that you continue with that interest, and I know that you'll excel in that interest. And then in sports and athletics, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, or all three, I'm certain that you'll be well accomplished in that as well.
Well, when you were a kid, was your mindset just set to being a senator, or did you have other things in?
My mindset was so far from being a senator. When I was a kid, it was about playing Madden and NBA Live and playing on my local football team and basketball team and all of the things that kids think about as kids. It was very far from being elected. But as a kid that grew up in a neighborhood in a loving community, it gave me a sense of giving back. So we used to do community clothing drives and food drives and giveaways on the weekend. My grandmother was a pastor of a church, and so we were in church, and so the faith context gave us a sense of giving back, and we were doing those things through the church, giving back to the community. And so for me, serving in public office, it's nothing more than what I was trained to do as a kid and giving back to the community that I live in and I grew up in. And that's what I continue to do as an adult, as a state senator. But I never wrote down when I grew up, I want to be a state senator. But this is just an extension of my public service and giving back to the community.
That sounds really challenging that you have to do that. And finally, what is the progress of becoming a senator?
The progress, it's funny that you say that. Our motto or mantra is our progress. And so in recent years, we've done things like establish Juneteenth as a state holiday in the state of Delaware. We've added to the Delaware State Constitution the protection of rights for African Americans, Hispanics, Asian Americans, Latinx residents in our state so that they would have protections no matter their race or national origin or color. We also did protections around hair. So you know how lots of people like to grow their hair now and have kinky twist and all kinds of things like that. Not as smooth as you and our hair today, but we wanted to make sure that they had protections in school and in employment so that they could have braids and knots and all those things that they wanted to have in expressing themselves and not have those prejudices whether they're in school or employment. So those are some of the things that we did around progress in addition to the things I talked about earlier, like the $100 million of investment and adult expungement. But there's so much more that we can do to improve education for our kids, and I'm thankful for the work of Governor Carney and many members of the Delaware Legislative Black Caucus as we work together to improve urban education here in the city of Wilmington and making sure that you have everything you need so that you can be successful. And I just want to thank Warner School, the leadership of Warner School, the teachers and educators here for how they continue to invest in you and to create a space like this that you can cultivate your interest in the arts.
So what you're saying that when I grow up, I could become a senator?
When you grow up, you can become a senator. When you grow up, you can be the president of the United States. When you grow up, you can be the wealthiest man in the world. It is all about the aspirations and dreams that you have and the discipline to follow through to obtain them. I believe that the richest place in the entire world is the grave, because that's the place many people have gone without obtaining their dreams. And so my words of encouragement to you is to live out your dreams, live out every aspiration and idea that you have. Don't be afraid to fail, because if you don't try, you'll never be able to obtain it. And just meeting you this morning and seeing the potential that you have, I'm very confident that you'll be able to obtain all of those things. So keep leading, man.
That's really amazing that I could actually become a senator when I grow up. Thank you, Senator Brown, for joining us, and thank you, Thunderbird family, for watching. I am Skylar Elijah from the WTKA and Channel A News Program. Have a great day.
Wow, that was very inspiring. Thank you, Senator Brown. We'll be right back.
Lauren Hansberry has special skills as a writer. A play she wrote helped white Americans understand the struggles of black Americans. It brought many people to the theater at a time when no one thought a play about a black family could be a success. Hansberry's 1959 play of Raisin in the Sun is about the problems an African American family faces in reaching its goals and dreams. It later became a successful movie. A Raisin in the Sun was the first drama written by an African American woman, performed in Broadway, New York City. Drama critics voted it the best new play of the year.
Look at all the wonderful things you could get from Thunderbird Exchange.
Woohoo! Today is February 1st.
Okay, it's just like any other day.
It's actually not. Today marks the first day of Black History Month.
Black History Month? That exists?
It does, no cap. Black History Month celebrates and highlights the amazing contribution of black people all over the world.
Wait, what do you mean black people all over the world?
It's called the African diaspora, which is anyone who is a descendant of Africa. It was created by Carter G. Woodson in 1926. Since then to 1976, every U.S. president has designated the month of February for Black History Month. Other countries all over the world celebrate it too.
Oh wow, I never knew that.
Oh wait, now I remember. Miss Jackson told us we were going to learn about this in social studies.
Word, that's so cool. I can't wait to learn more about it.
Welcome back to our special Inquisitive Corner Black History Month edition. Thank you, Senator Brown. Up next, we have Senator Pinckney of our first state.
Hello everyone, I am Scholar Maya and welcome to WTKN Channel 8 News Program. Inquisitive Corner, thank you for joining us today. We have a very special guest. Please give a round of applause for Senator Marie Pinckney, who represents the 13th District, which stretches from the Christiana River south to Red Lion Road. Hello, Senator Pinckney. Welcome to our program. How are you doing today?
Hi, Maya. Good morning. I am good. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you. How are you?
Good. Could you please tell our Thunderbird family a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Well, my name is Marie. Sometimes people call me Senator Pinckney, but my name is Marie. I am a Delawarean. I graduated from Howard High School. After I graduated from Howard, I went to Norfolk State University, HBCU in Virginia. I'm a social worker by trade, so when I graduated from Norfolk State, I moved back home to Delaware and became a social worker. Spent a couple of years working with teenagers who had substance abuse problems and mental health problems. And then after that, I started working at Christiana Hospital, where I still work today, and I ran for office in 2020, and so now I am also a state senator. Also, I like to lift weights, and I do Kung Fu on the side too.
Thanks for sharing that information. I want to ask you a few more questions if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
So what does a senator do?
Thank you for that. That is a big question because we do a little bit of a lot of different things. One of the most important things that senators do is make laws. So when you think about laws and the rules that we're allowed to live by here in Delaware, I am one of 62 people who help to make those. So we try to make laws that make people's lives a little bit better, a little bit easier, that help people out of the problems that they're solving. We try to do things that help the school that you guys go to. Part of what we do is deal with funding. So we deal with the money. So we help to give money to schools so you guys can have amazing programs like this. We allocate money to build buildings, and we do things as small as help people get potholes fixed in their neighborhoods. So senators do a lot of things, but those are some of the big ones.
What is the main purpose of a senator?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think the main purpose is to be a voice for our community. So one of the things that I have to do to become a senator is run for office. So I have to get a lot of people to vote for me and say that they want me to be my senator. And by doing that, that means that I am agreeing to represent them as a voice down in Legg Hall and Dover where I work. And so I think one of the main parts is being a voice for all of the people who said that I was able to be their senator.
How long have you been a senator?
That's a good question. I have only been a senator since 2020. So do you remember when we voted for President Biden and Vice President Harris? Yeah. Remember that election? I got elected on the same night that they got elected back in 2020.
Thank you for working for the people who live in Delaware. What are some obstacles that you deal with as a senator in office?
Yeah, you ask really good questions. You know that? Some of the obstacles that I deal with are trying to get people to agree on things. So I said that we make laws, and those are really important laws, but not everybody agrees on what they should look like. So sometimes if you have people that have different opinions or different values that we have, the people that I represent have, sometimes sometimes it's a little difficult to get them to understand why they should vote for something or support a big bill. Some of the difficult things too, one of the things that I don't like the most that we don't really talk about is that we have to raise money to be senators. So when I have to talk to people and make sure that they know who I am, I have to raise a lot of money to do that, and I do not like raising money. It's annoying. You remember those like pizza fundraisers that you guys do in school? It's like a big pizza fundraiser, but every day and a lot of money, so I don't like that so much. I think some of the difficult things too are that we represent so many people that sometimes it's hard to talk to everybody and reach everybody, which is something that I think is important, but not always easy. And there's like never enough time to do all the things, so there's always something else that I'm supposed to be doing too.
What is something that you have to be a senator?
Something that you have to have. I think that's a really good question. I would say good values. You have to care about people and what happens to them. You have to care about people's families and people's experiences. And I don't think if you don't have that, if you don't care about what happens to people, you're not going to be a very good senator, because what we do is represent people.
What makes you a good senator?
You ask the best questions. I think what makes me a good senator is that I care about people. You know, I was a social worker first because I wanted to make sure that people were getting the help that they need. So when I work with teenagers, I wanted to make sure that they had somebody that was listening to them, that they had somebody that they felt safe talking to. When I work at the hospital and I was working with people, sometimes I would work with people who got in car accidents or people who were victims of gun violence, and I cared about what happened to them, and I wanted to make sure that they were going to be okay after the things that they experienced. And so doing those same things as a senator, I think, is what makes me a good senator, is genuinely trying to be an advocate and a voice for the people who elected me, and even the people who didn't, because I still represent them too.
And finally, what is the process of becoming a senator in Delaware?
Yeah, so remember when I said I do like a big pizza fundraiser all the time? So that's one of the processes, because we need money to reach people, which is a debatable thing on whether or not it's good or bad, but it's part of the gig. And then once we have that ability on the side of that, we also have to go knock on people's doors. We have to make sure that people know who we are. We want to make sure people know why we're running for office and what we plan on doing when we get down there. So we do that by knocking on their doors, by calling people, by texting people, by talking to people on Facebook and Instagram, even TikTok sometimes. So those are kind of the fun things that we get to do to reach people. After that, once we've reached a whole bunch of people, we spend all year doing that, and then we get to Election Day, which was when we talked about whether or not we voted for President Trump or President Biden. And I do that same thing. So people go down to that voting box, and if they liked what I said and what I stand for, then they vote for me. And then you stay up all night and you wait for the people in the Department of Elections to count all the votes. It was 3,000 votes, and they counted all of those, and then we decide we figure out whether or not we won after they count all those votes.
So what you're saying is that one day I could run for senator?
I am absolutely saying that, and if it's something that is interesting to you and exciting to you, please do it, because we need you there too.
Thank you, Senator Pinckney, for joining us today, and thank you, Thunder Bear family, for watching. I'm Skylar Meyer for WTKN Channel 8 News Program, and have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Incredible. Thank you, Senator Pinkley. I might consider being a senator when I grow up. When I come back from a commercial break, Ellen Capper from our Books and Bagels LLC will be joining us.
Hello, welcome to the Thunderbirds Exchange. Today we have squishies, slime, and foods you can play with, and for 15 doja points, and much, much more.
Hi, I'm Scarlett Camilla, and we have everything. We have these cute socks. We have this for only 7 doja points. And we also have this alien shop stick and these baby dolls. And also these toys for 10 doja points and much more.
Hi, I'm Scarlett Nayera, and this is a moment in Black history. Mary Bethune had a strong belief in the value of education. It led her to found a school for African Americans that is now nearly 100 years old. Bethune was one of 17 children. Her parents were former slaves who owned a small cotton farm. She studied to become a teacher. In 1904, she established a African-American school for girls in Daytona, Florida. She said it started with 5 little girls, $1.50, and faith in God. She convinced wealthy white tourists from the North to support her school. The school grew and in 1923 became a college that enrolled both young men and women. Bethune's work as an educator and an activist for civil rights made her one of the most well-known African Americans of her time. She served as an advisor to 4 U.S. presidents. Today, a bronze monument in Washington, D.C. honors Bethune for her achievements. This has been a moment in Black history. I'm Scholar Naira.
Good afternoon, class. It's 3 o'clock. It's time for social studies. Please open up your Winker binders to your social studies section. In celebration of Black History Month, we're going to discuss Africa and its influence. We don't realize Africa's impact on our culture and our strong connection with music and drumming.
I've heard of African drumming before. Miss Barrera taught us about the djembe in music class the other day.
Yes, djembe was an African drum. It comes from the western region of Africa. Djembes was used for celebration, religious events, and dancing. Fun fact, African drums were used as a form of communication.
They had conversations about drumming? That's so cool!
What is going on? Where is everybody?
Hey there, these are the sounds of our ancestors. They are always protecting us. Never forget them. Remember, we are kings and queens.
Welcome back to our special Inquisitive Corner Black History Month edition. If you're interested in delicious bagels and reading, this is a place to be. Make sure to check out Ellen's Business Books and Bagels LLC at 1139 West 7th Street. They are open Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 3 to 9 p.m., Saturday, 12:30 to 8 p.m., and Sunday, 12 to 8 p.m. Miss Ellen was in our studio for an interview, and we are going to tape that right now.
Hello everyone, I am Scholar Maya, and welcome to WTKN Channel 8 News Program. Inquisitive Corner, thank you for joining us today. We have a very special guest. Please give a round of applause for Miss Ellen Capard from Books and Bagels LLC. Hello, Miss Capard. How are you?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
Good. Thank you for joining us. Could you please tell our Thunderbird family a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I'm a local bookstore owner who recently opened a store here in Wilmington's West Side, right on the corner of 7th and Harrison. I moved to Wilmington from Washington, D.C., where I lived for 10 years with my daughter, Sophia. We were looking for a new place to kind of call home, and so we moved to Wilmington, Delaware, and since then we've called Delaware home and been so welcomed by all the community here.
Well, what type of books do you sell? What is your business about?
Right, so Books and Bagels is a general bookstore, which means we sell all types of books. Some bookstores are very specific, but we sell all kinds of books. We sell children's books, adult books, even some specialty books. Anybody who has an inquisitive mind can come there and ask for a certain book, and if I don't have it, I can order it and get it to them. Not as fast as Amazon, but pretty close.
Thanks for sharing that information. I want to ask you a few more questions if that's okay with you.
Sure.
So what inspired you to make your business?
I really always had a love for reading. The library is one of my favorite places, the second favorite being the bookstore. What I like about reading is that no matter what's going on, no matter how good or bad your day is, you can open up a book and be in a new place. You could be at a different time. You can meet new people without even leaving your home.
What are some tips you would have for kids who may want to start their own business?
I would say to follow your passion, whatever it is that you really love to do. That may already be a seed to making something productive. Like, you don't ever want to just try something for money, because Money is a okay motivator, but it's not the greatest one. Think about what you like to do and play. What do you like to do for fun? And follow that, because that will guide you to a path of where you could really invest your time, and it'll never seem like work. You'll just seem like you're playing all the time, and then you get paid for it.
What was the process for you in making your own business?
This started with a plan. So just like when you're writing a book report or you're writing an essay, your teacher might give you an outline and you have to do a brainstorm and all those little steps. It's the same thing for a business. And the business plan takes a lot of time and effort to write out. You might have something called a business coach that gives you some ideas or listen to what you have and give you some feedback on it. Other people may look at it and tell you like this is good or where to improve. But a business plan, even as a business owner, even after the business is open, the business plan is a good place just to go to remember why I started it and how I want to run the business so I don't lose sight of my mission.
What is the biggest thing, you have to have when creating your own business?
The biggest thing you have to have is I would say you have to be motivated in yourself. That's the biggest thing. On the days when it's raining outside or it's really sunny and you want to play, and instead you have to go and tend to your business, that's why I say make sure it's something you love. Like at first sometimes I'd be like, oh man, there's something else I'd like to do. But it's like, what else would I rather like to do than hang out at a bookstore? And it happens to be my bookstore. When I get there, I feel so good. So just being motivated by what your business is really important.
What was the biggest obstacle for you when creating your own business?
You know, I don't know if do you like to imagine? Mm-hmm. That was really hard for me to really imagine how it would look, especially before I got a space. Because you have a plan and it's written out. But the fun part, the creating it and imagining what it was hard at first. And then to make others see what your imagination sees is the second hardest thing. But if you're very creative, if you're really passionate, you can get people to see your vision. And when they come in the store, they're like, wow, see what you're saying now. This is a great space. So yeah, just imagining it, really getting creative in my mind about what it can be, and then sharing that with others. It was hard at first, but now it's pretty exciting.
What is one thing that you would say makes your bookstore very different from any other bookstore?
One thing that makes our bookstore different is that we are community-based. So a community bookstore is different than just like your Barnes & Nobles. They sell a lot of books. They have cool stuff in there. But our bookstore is not just a store, but a space for people in the community to come and hang out, to have meetings, to use it for events. Like if somebody had an idea for an event, and like I like to paint. One community member came and said, I like to paint flowers. And so one Sunday we set up some flowers and we invited people to come and paint. And a lot of people came and they really enjoyed themselves. So that's what makes our bookstore unique. We invite the community to come in, to enjoy themselves. It's not just about buying books or selling a product. It's really about making it our home.
Thank you for sharing that information. And we're WTKN Channel 8 News Program. Have a great day. Bye.
Hello, I'm Skylar Nolani, and this is a moment in Black history. Frederick Jones changed the way Americans eat until he invented a way to keep food cold on trucks and trains. It was hard to ship food across the country. The food spoiled during the long trip. In the late 1930s, Jones created a device that kept food cold and fresh. This meant that oranges grown in Florida or lettuce grown in California could be enjoyed by people on the other side of the United States. It allowed frozen food to be developed and made fast food restaurant chains possible. Jones' career as an inventor began when he was a car mechanic. He built a self-starting starting gasoline engine and other devices to control motors. He also created machines for movie industry. Some of these improved the sound in movies. One gave out tickets and change. And all Jones created more than 60 inventions that helped shape the way we live our lives today. I'm Scar Nolani, and that has been a moment in Black history.
Look at all the wonderful things you can get at the Thunderbird Exchange. Here we have this fuzzy ball for 30 JoJo points. We have this Pop and Fidget toy as a bracelet. We have this squishy and stretchy toy for as this mini cupcake and vanilla icing or chocolate icing, or this mini Rubik's Cube, all for 30 JoJo points, and so much more at the Thunderbird Exchange.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you, Thunderbird family, for watching. I'm Scarlett Camilla for WTK Channel 8 News Program. Bye!